Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Today I'm super excited to be hosting Michael James from programmingelectronics.com. He is crushing it online with courses. And Mike is a technology and electronics junkie, and he's teaching others how to make some cool things with the Arduino platform. Mike, thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, my name's Mike. I've been kind of doing this online course thing for about 5, 6 years now, but really I guess just online business I've been interested for probably the past 8 or 10 years, just kind of on the sidelines though. And just over time, slowly but surely kind of building up and that's kind of where I've gotten to today. But outside of this, I had like a full-time job. I was actually in aviation and but it wasn't quite my gig, so I decided to kind of step out of that and start my own deal.
That's awesome, man. So I have to be honest. I had no idea what Arduino was.
Did
So
you think it was a sub sandwich?
I was like, what is this? I was, what's funny? I even had to look at a YouTube video to understand how to pronounce it. I was like, am I even pronouncing this right? So what is Arduino, and what can you do with it?
Arduino is a pretty cool little device. It's a development board for a really small computer, called a microcontroller. And the reason Arduino is so popular is because it has taken what used to be very difficult and technical, and which still is in some regard difficult and technical, but it's taken that and it's kind of like made it a little bit easier to do some really neat stuff. So a lot of people who are into hobby electronics, which is actually a really big field, a lot of people are learning how to program now, and they are like being able to program these microcontroller devices to do like make these really interesting things happen. So like if you think of quadcopters and 3D printers and like a lot of that type of realm, a lot of that's powered by all of that's powered by microcontrollers, but a lot of the people who are getting into that are getting in through Arduino as kind of the gateway.
Wow, so that's pretty cool. So what gave you the idea to build a curriculum around Arduino? I mean, obviously it's getting popular, but and you did say you were, kind of getting into online business, but what was kind of your motivation behind it?
Yeah, for me, because I did know that I wanted to get into business, and so I just like, okay, well, I kind of know a little bit of this stuff. Let me just throw some videos up on YouTube and see if I get any traction. And man, the videos were such crap. It wasn't even, I was just doing my best and at the time, and they just started getting traction. I started getting like really positive feedback, and so then I scaled up the quality of the videos, and I just did more planning and for each video, and I really thought out like the lessons, and I thought, okay, well, how can I really help somebody learn as opposed to, well, let me just turn on record and go. And so I feel like that once I did that, then this traction really started kicking in, and I started getting great feedback, and I started to feel comfortable, like at a point for myself where I'm like, maybe I could charge for this, maybe somebody would buy this. And then it was kind of like, once you make your first sale, it's like on to the races.
Yeah, that's an awesome feeling. I remember that feeling when we started off with WordPress plugins. But so basically, even before you started your YouTube channel and going down that route, were you actually maybe physically showing others how to do stuff with Arduino, or did you just start off with a YouTube channel?
I was kind of like doing, like meetup. So I had a meetup that I was kind of going to, but that was hit or miss in my town. And just like my own use, just my own personal, because I am myself an electronics hobbyist. And so just my own use, mostly, and showing my kids stuff, like the kids love LEDs and servos and all that type of stuff. So, mostly from that aspect.
Gotcha. So you mentioned, so you did some aviation before this, and so this now is your full-time gig.
That's right. Yep. This is my full-time gig.
That's awesome. That is so cool. So how does it feel to kind of be out of the 9 to 5, daily grind and doing your own thing? How's that feel?
It's pretty sweet. It's funny though, my wife, cause it's funny, like you start out, you're not making anything. everything's like just seems insurmountable, but you got a lot of like motivation and energy. It's like you're just on fire kind of.
Yeah.
And it allows you to do some really cool stuff, I think, when you're just starting out, even if it's not always in the right direction or whatever. And you're just like, oh man, if I could get to this point, if I could get to this point. But that whole if I could never ends, you know what I mean? And my wife has to smack me every once in a while because I call it my time of the month. And because like, there's the business has ups and downs and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, there's just usually at least once a month where I'll be like, man, what's up? What's going on? Kind of just trying to, troubleshoot things and make sure I'm on the right path, and my wife will remind me, she's like, think about 5 years ago, basically she just wants me to shut up, but it's like, think about 5 years ago where you are, look at where you're at now, just, kind of step and appreciate where you've been able to come. So
Yeah.
not that I've arrived anywhere, but it's still a lot of work and stuff, and I still got a far, far way to go, but
yeah, I think it's funny. I think there's a meme out there or something, and it's kind of like a line graph showing like the roller coaster of an entrepreneur. It's like today you're successful, and oh man, today it's like I suck. I didn't make any sales, or today's awesome. Everything's going good. Or, it's like it's so funny. It's like I think every entrepreneur experiences that in some way, shape, or form, or at least at some point. It seems to happen a lot more in the beginning, though. So.
Yeah.
So I guess one of the indications that, your online course is successful is basically by looking at your student success. So that said, I bet there's been some pretty cool things that your students have built with Arduino. What are some of the cool things they've done with it?
Yeah. So it's actually really cool, what people have done. And that's, I think, probably the most gratifying part, to see people like come in, and most of the people, like my kind of target audience is people who are already kind of working with Arduino just a little bit.
Okay.
And so, but they're kind of stuck on a project they're working on. So, to see people like either start a project from scratch or kind of finish one they're working on is always pretty cool. So I'm just trying to think of some of the recent ones we've had. So like, you've probably heard of like, aquaponics stuff. So we had a guy who had like a garden, an aquaponics garden. So basically it's got like fish in it, and then there's plants in the top, all legal stuff. Trust me, all legal stuff. But he had to like feed the fish every so often. And so he just made a thing that kind of auto feeded the fish for him, which was kind of cool. And like turn the lights on for the plants and all that type of stuff. So that was one. Another guy made like a wireless wireless weather machine. So basically it sits outside, had a solar panel attached to it, and then it would report the weather back, to an online site, which was cool.
Oh wow.
A lot of wireless stuff people are doing, and some like silly stuff. Like some guy made a little like turret that he put a laser pointer on, and he used it to keep his cats away from his Christmas tree. So like anytime his cats, it had like a motion sensor. So if his cats would get near the Christmas tree, the thing would start to move, and then the cats would like be drawn by the laser, and they wouldn't get his tree and get, tinsel everywhere or whatever. But yeah. So I mean, and what's great about content like that is I love to share it. It's great because I'll people bring it up, they'll send it to me, and then I try to turn it into a post on our website, and we've got like a whole section dedicated to customer projects. And I feel like it's awesome. I know for a fact it's inspiration to current customers, but it's also kind of just social proof, like, hey, look, we came, this helped, and kind of thing. So
yeah, no, that's so cool. It's funny. I remember I was at a talk. I don't remember, some conference or something, and they were talking about just some like little side projects they were working on. Somebody had built I think it was a Raspberry Pi, and what it was is it was connected to somebody's computer with a speaker, and they wrote some kind of API interface so that when somebody clicks a button on a website, it was like a website, and this gal was blogging, and she would put this button that just said, say hi to Joe. And when people would click that, it would say hi to her coworker. Like she kind of did it more of an annoyance to him, but it was pretty cool. I mean, it's just so neat how you can connect. I mean, just like you were talking about the weather station, reporting to an online page. I mean, that's just I mean, it's innovative, but it's really cool. I mean, I love that sort of thing. It's just the great minds that are out there. It's amazing. So tell us a little bit about your course. Are you? I'm assuming are you just running one course, or are you running multiple courses?
Yeah, so it's all pre-recorded material is how
Right.
I've done it, and I've got multiple courses, but it's really like one major flagship course that takes people from not knowing anything about programming or electronics, and it kind of walks them through using an Arduino. Um, Now, like I mentioned before, so I've got a couple different groups of people that I generally try to work with, that I help the most, you know. So that is like somebody who's an electronics hobbyist, and they usually they've got like the electrical side down, so they understand current and voltage, and like, you know, when I say there's 5 volts here, you know, or ground voltage, they're like cool with that. Um, and so their real thing is like learning the programming side of it.
Mm,
And then I've also got folks who are like absolute beginners who don't really know anything about electronics or programming, but they have like a little project in mind that they want to make. And so, and then I've got like a group, mostly teachers who are interested in, have you heard of like STEM education?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Right. So I got teachers who are wanting to teach this to their students
That's
because it's
cool.
a really good platform to teach kids in some regard. And so what I did is like I tried to make the course so that it would be the electronic side of the course is going to be a good review for electronic hobbyists, but it's going to, you know what I mean? So like all of that, all those 3 people can work through the course and still get a lot out of it, even though some of it, you know, if you're an electronics hobbyist, you're going to probably know a lot of the electronic side of it already, but it
Right.
doesn't hurt for a review. So I got that's like the main course. And then I've got some other like supporting courses, like there's a basic electronics course in there. And then I've got another course about using a wireless microcontroller. It's called an ESP8266, which is really common and dirt cheap and fun to use. Um, and then some other courses about using just different devices like liquid crystal displays and servo motors and that type of thing. So
That's pretty cool. So you have a wide range, and I love the fact that you're taking somebody from beginner level, you know, up to more advanced level. But I also love the fact that you're showing teachers how to do this for STEM. I think that's really cool. In fact, it's funny. I'm actually going to. We've got a new teacher at a school that my kids go to. It's a small private Christian school, but they've got a new teacher coming in next year who's doing something with robotics. And so, but I would love for somebody to do something like this with Arduino, or just, you know, just electronics and programming. I'd love to see more of that technology come into our school. So I think that's really cool. I think that's
yeah,
awesome.
that's cool. It's interesting. Some schools are really picking it up, and some schools aren't. Because I'm in touch with some of these teachers, and it blows me away the stuff they're doing in their classroom. And then other schools are really not doing anything. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see the difference kind of across the spectrum about it. But
Yeah. So Mike, you were one of our early adopters for WPCourseware. And so tell me about your experience with WPCourseware.
well, when I was first like checking stuff out, because it's like you're going to get some software and you're like looking around, like, okay, what's going to be the best option? Because you're trying to make good decisions or whatever. And so I was looking at some different stuff, and this was like years ago, so I don't even remember what I was comparing you guys with. But I found the post. I found you guys through some guy's post, and it was a really good review. Like, listen, don't overcomplicate this online course stuff. Get a WordPress site, get WPCourseware, throw it on there and go. You know, like set up, like I think it was Gumroad or something like that at the time. You know, it was the recommendation, and so I just went with that recommendation, and it was so easy. It blew my mind, like the WPCourseware thing, because I was kind of okay with WordPress at that time, right? So it's like, okay, all I have to do is write a post, and then like that post becomes a special like WordPress or like unit or something. I don't know what you guys call it exactly. And then you just line it up in the block. And then if you don't like where you put it, you just drag it somewhere else. And it's like, that's it. You know, it wasn't some complicated thing. And then you guys have like the different ways of embedding it on the pages, you know, like you can either just show the course and the course progress or whatever. And like it rolls up the course progress really well for the students. So, and then what's cool is you can show it, you can show the course progress, but then you have like that plus button where it will show all the courses too. so you can condense all the different courses you have like right there. So it just made it easy. I didn't have to like hire a developer to like figure it out. It was like, okay, I know what I'm going to write. I know the material I want to show my students. It was just simple. So nice job, guys. That's a great product.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for those kind words. And yeah, no, we love to hear these kinds of stories, with WPCourseware I mean, we are obviously we are a business, but at the same time, I get a super big thrill out of seeing people that use our software and are able to create online courses and become successful with it. I mean, like you said, you were able to, leave your 9 to 5 aviation, which actually I'm sure that was pretty good pay as well. But I mean, that's just super cool to me. It's freeing you up for the lifestyle that you choose. So that's cool, man.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So obviously you're primarily using videos as your, platform to deliver your content. Are you using any like quizzes or downloadable study guides or anything like that?
I don't have any quizzes, but I do have, and I do have some downloads to help, like that are like questionnaire downloads for students to work through. But at the end of every lesson, what I do is I have these challenges, and they're all like coding challenges. So it's, I'm trying to get people to practice, because you cannot just watch videos and know, I mean, like you'd learn a lot if you watch the videos, but you wouldn't be able to apply it. And to me, like, knowledge isn't really worth anything unless you can apply it. So I really want people to like do the challenges. And I actually harp on that kind of annoyingly throughout the videos. People will kind of write that to me like, oh, hey, Mike, I'm doing the challenges, man. I'm doing the challenges, but yeah, that's kind of a big part of it. So, but I've actually thought about maybe using some quizzes, just to reinforce some of the more rote memorization type stuff. But, a lot of it's more, as opposed to like rote memorization, a lot of it's just kind of thinking through problems.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the tech you're using. So are you using, with your video, are you using like DSLR, or are you using like an iPhone? And then, when you record, are you using like a teleprompter? Like what kind of tech are you using to record your course material?
Right. So I have a Canon DSLR camera that I actually commandeered from my wife. It was a Christmas gift to her, and then like I started using it all the time. So, but it does a great job. And I also use but mostly a lot of my stuff is like screen capture. So I use Camtasia,
Okay.
which
Yep. Mm-hmm.
is my absolute favorite tool. It is and it keeps getting better. It's I think personally they don't charge enough money for their software, because it does such a good job. And I try to avoid, actually I never do talking head videos. So all of my video is like a picture, the videos of a circuit board. And we're working on a circuit board type thing. So it's, I'm not into the talking head personally so much.
Yeah.
And with the screen capture in Camtasia, especially, it allows you to add elements to it that allow you to like, I don't know, like teach with the elements on the screen. You can show motion and, bring things in and make it so it's not like PowerPoint slides, if you know what I'm saying. It's like you're almost watching like I don't know, an educational video, as opposed to I don't know if that makes sense. But.
No, totally. Actually, I use a similar software. It's called ScreenFlow, but it does very similar things to Camtasia. I'm on a Mac. I think Camtasia actually has software for Mac as well, but I've used ScreenFlow for so long. But I totally know what you mean. You can move things around. You can focus in, zoom in on certain aspects of the screen. And I do a lot of screen recording as well. I do some talking head as well, but it's cool because you can edit all of that with the same software. So I'm sure with Camtasia is the same. If you had talking head, I'm sure you could edit it with that as well.
Yep. Yeah. It's cool how many inputs you can have into it. Really, it's quite amazing.
Yeah. So obviously you've got a pretty big student community. About how many students would you say you have right now?
Probably around 1,600 students.
Okay.
And some of them are recurring, some of them are not. And like, I haven't kept track of everybody over the years, so it's probably the current student body's right around there.
I think that's awesome though. I mean, that's a pretty good size student body. So how do they communicate, or do they engage with each other? Do you have some sort of way so that I think you mentioned a minute ago that you were on a Facebook call with them or something? Do you actually get them engaged together though?
I was actually on a call with Facebook. I was trying to figure out some ad stuff, but
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
no. So actually, and this is one place where I definitely want to move with my with the training. Is I want to move to more of a community based thing, because right now I really don't have a community. There's I think if you're going to run a community, you need to be serious about it. You can't just like throw up a Facebook page. And I mean, I'm sure you could throw up a Facebook group and go. I'm sure a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
But what I've tried to do with my business is I really try to make it, I really try to make the product I deliver quality. And so I don't want to get into a situation where I put up a Facebook group and then I don't have like skilled people to kind of moderate it, And so I haven't moved in that direction, although I know it's like, I know that's really a place where I need to go if I want to get to the next level, I think. And I think my members would enjoy it too. Because there's a lot of great people in there who'd probably like to communicate and share what they're working on. And I'm sure they'd be able to help each other do that. So it's definitely somewhere I want to move.
Yeah. It's always helpful, I think, to have that community just to kind of be able to share and bounce ideas off each other. It's funny. That's how I met my business partner. We met in an online forum, but we were taking an online course together. The forum was just associated with the course. And so I think connecting like that's super important for the students. So the question probably everybody wants to know, obviously, is, what does income look like for a business like this? I mean, how would you describe that?
Well, it's like a flowing thing. Like, I wish I could say it was all like, roses and dandelions and stuff, but I will say that you get to a point where you can pretty confidently make a couple $1,000s a month, like, count on it kind of thing, so that's like a really nice place to get. And then at certain seasons, it can get a lot better than that, so yeah, I mean, I guess if that's cool with you.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the, that's the key, trying to get that recurring income flowing in. I mean, it sounds like you've got a good thing going with the courses. You've got a solid foundation with students. And so obviously you're just going to build on that. The cool thing about online courses, and obviously with online business in general, is, once you kind of create this sort of thing, I mean, it's like, it's done once, the work is done once, and now it can be sold over and over again. You're not having to, go to a classroom every day and teach the course, and, it's not trading time for dollars. And so I think that's the important thing here with online business in respect to online courses as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it's helped me a lot is to, because like me personally, I've never wanted to have like a personal brand. That's not kind of been my thing so much. I've been a little more interested in trying to like establish a business and, like, I guess a more formal, something that could be detached from me, that I can step away from more formally. So it doesn't have to all just be me,
Yeah, no, I think that's great. A minute ago, you mentioned Facebook ads. So I'm going to ask a question. What do you do for marketing? Obviously, you're doing maybe some Facebook ads, social media. I know you have a YouTube channel, but what would you say you're doing as a whole for marketing?
Well, for the longest time, it was just content marketing. That was like, the thing. And so I made a ton of content in the past, and it was just serving as this like evergreen kind of just pushing leads to pushing traffic to the website. And then it was just a matter of like, okay, well, how can I get this opt-in set up so that, it's attractive to somebody enough to opt in? So I've been able to establish like a steady flow of leads. And that steady flow has been steady, which is nice, but it's so much work to do content marketing consistently, and not to say that, business shouldn't take work. Obviously it's going to take work to do.
Oh yeah.
But, so I've really just started dabbling into kind of Facebook ads and using that as kind of the next place to throw some fuel on the fire, essentially.
Yeah, it's yeah, and you said it in a roundabout way. You said it takes consistency. So like, we do content marketing. So Nate, my business partner, he does a lot of our content, posting with blogs and stuff like that. And then he also does the email marketing as well. And then I kind of handle the social media properties, and so we have like a schedule going on, and so we're posting certain things certain times a week. But yeah, it's so important to be consistent, and it's hard because it's a lot of time and energy to do that.
Yeah, and I read this post by I'm a big fan, or I was a big fan of Copy Blogger. I think
Oh
they
yeah.
run a good website. I know they've changed. I don't know if they've changed hands or not, but one thing when I was first getting started, they talked about different types of people, and some people are sprinters and some people are marathoners, and like the sprinter just, hey, let's do as much work as I can up front, and then let's take a break kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the marathoner is like the, hey, let's take it a little slower. We'll do it one, and then take some time, and then another. And I think it takes kind of both of those people to make it happen in business. And I'm like, me personally, I'm more of the sprinter type guy.
Yeah,
and so I have to like kick myself in the butt to be the marathoner and be the more consistent end. But
yeah, it's hard. It really is. I'm a sprinter as well. And I think the other thing too that's interesting, because I've heard this in various conferences as well, when people go up to speak, that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with someone else. And so sometimes I feel like building a team, and then it's kind of like, man, your work kind of doesn't end up being so passive, because now you have a team that you're managing, and so there's a whole bunch of other moving parts. But at the same time, I mean, it's kind of the only way to scale, I think. So that's one thing we've started doing in our business. We hired a full-time developer, and then we've got like a support guy now. So we're slowly building our team. But yeah, it's hard because you want to go fast. But if you want to be in it for the long run, I think like you said, it's more of a marathon. You've got to take your time and do all these necessary steps, for marketing and content, and things like that, so that you can benefit far into the future, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's one struggle that you've encountered during, online courses or online business in general, and how did you overcome it?
Oh man, that's like the story of my life, man. I would say sometimes, like, I'll just give you Facebook ads for an example. And this can go for like so many things. Like if you're just starting off, this could go for WordPress, or this could go for like email marketing. It's like I open up the Facebook app, the ads manager, and I look at all these rows and all these numbers, and my eyes just kind of like glaze over. And I'm like, I will never figure this out. This is too complicated for me. I'm just crap, And then that starts like the couple day thing of like, okay, well, who can I hire out to do this, kind of thing. And then kind of the realization, well, like, there's no silver bullet. And if I'm going to hand this off, I at least have to know like the basics of it. I can't just hope somebody's going to ride in and save the day. That's not how it works,
Yeah.
And so, and so for me, the solution is like just kind of digging in, getting some training on it. And then before long, it's like, okay, now I kind of get that. All right. I kind of get that. Okay. Oh, hey, look at that. I can make some money here, and that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it starts to kind of think. So it's just, I guess, and it happens to me all the time. I look at something like, there's no way I'm going to do this, but I don't know, just kind of facing up to it, give myself some like, oh, this sucks kind of time, and then just get back at it.
Yeah. I think every solopreneur, entrepreneur, I think, deals with that. I mean, we've dealt with that. We're still dealing with that. I mean, we do Facebook ads, and we just created an Instagram account last fall, I think, and I'm trying to figure that out. And so it's just yeah, it would be easy to hand off to somebody, but I think you do have to know some of the nuts and bolts of it as well, in order to outsource that sort of thing. But and at the same time, it's like, you kind of look at others doing things, and it's like, man, I know I could do that. I just need to figure out how, so you buy an online course or something. And we've done that. I've done that with YouTube ads and Facebook ads and things like that. So, yeah, it's definitely a learning curve. But I think once you're well-rounded, you can start outsourcing, and you're knowledgeable enough to know, well, yeah, that should work, or that won't work, or what you want, and that sort of thing. So,
right.
But so So where can people find you online? I mean, feel free to promote any courses, YouTube channel, whatever you want. Where can people find you?
Yeah, I mean, if people just want to go check out programmingelectronics.com, that'd be great. There's a contact button on there if you want to get in touch with me personally, ask any questions. Anybody who's like getting into this whole online thing or has questions about it, I'm happy to talk to them, chat about it or whatever. So yeah, I mean, they could reach me at michael@programmingelectronics.com. Happy to field any questions I can, best of my ability.
That's awesome. So, man, Mike, thank you so much for hanging out and taking the time to, talk online courses and Arduino. It's such a cool subject. I definitely want to look into this a little bit more, actually, for our school. So who knows? I might be purchasing your course in the not too distant future. But anyway, I want to thank everybody else for watching. I would ask if you do me a big favor, if you could just click the subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss out on any of our helpful video content just like this. And again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next interview.